Welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are for game 2 of the chess tournament. I will do my best to not have this be 70 minutes. I can promise you it won't be. This game will be a little bit more smooth. I am the white pieces again, which now that I'm 0-1, I'm playing against somebody else who's also 0-1. I was like, damn, I was hoping I'd have the black pieces against somebody else who's probably not a good player because they lost their first game. And that'd be, like better for me in the long run so I can get my white pieces later on in the tournament once I start winning a couple of games again. That was a thought process. It's stupid, it's irrelevant, but it does also mean that out of 5 rounds, I just got the white pieces twice in a row to start with. You can't get black 3 times in a row. You can't get either one 3 times in a row. So it does mean that now I'm guaranteed to have 3 whites and 2 black. Because whether it goes black, white, black, or black, black, white to finish out the tournament, I'm only going to have 2 of the last 3 games be with the black pieces. So it's still a positive sign. I just, wish the order would have been marginally different, but it really doesn't matter. So here we are. I said in the last video that, I like to play Vienna when I can. And this guy obliged. So thank you, Gotham, for your E4 course, where I decide to play the Vienna Gambit because I love it and it's so much fun. And dude just falls for it. So right away, I know I'm going to win this game. It's a totally fatal mistake to take this pawn in the Vienna Gambit. You're going to win 90% of these games if you have this, and the 10% you lose is because you blunder your queen or something stupid. That being said, because of this, I don't really practice these lines or this variation very much because I don't really ever think that it's going to happen. And if it does happen, then they're probably just not good and I'm going to win the game anyway. So I do have to be very careful. I do have to make sure that I'm still playing the correct moves. If I make any sort of mistake, I will instantaneously lose the game and feel like a complete dumbass because I absolutely should not lose this game from here, period, bar none, no exceptions. Unless it's Magnus, then fine, I'll still lose, but it doesn't matter. That's not happening. This guy is not Magnus. This guy is some 500 rated player, probably. I don't know. Real life ratings are very different from online ratings, FYI. Anyway, so in here, you push the pawn. It gives him 2 options. He can either pin your pawn with the queen, to which then you can't take the knight, but you just undo the pin, and now he still has to move the knight away. Or you just immediately go right back where you started, which feels really bad and feels really dumb, because what are you doing at that point? You've got one pawn all the way out here in the middle of nowhere, while the other guy's got open lines and a piece out and, taking pressure. So obviously the knight can't go there because he just dies. Can't go there because he just dies. So that's it. That's literally it. So he notices this and he goes back, which is fine. So you have to bring your knight out because you don't want to mess around with shenanigans of what the hell could happen and have problems. So you've got to bring the knight out to guard that square. There's a few different ways to attack this pawn, but black is definitely going to be in some trouble regardless of which one you pick. So he pushes out d-pawn, that's fine. I strengthen my center, but it's more to open up my bishop. He decides to take, that's fine. Remember the pin to the king? We're going to go pin to the king. And now, I've got 2 pieces that can take this guy, and once I take this guy, then I'm taking this guy. I have 3 pieces that can take this guy, actually. And then this guy will be falling, and then queenside castle is coming, and then he's coming, and then this is coming. And then, the bishop is going over here. And if I take with the horse, then this is over here. It's too much. So he blocks the pin as well. And this is where I realized I don't practice my line enough. I feel like it's usually they develop a horse or they try and attack my knight or something. I feel like I usually don't see this first, at least not in my training courses. So I actually started to feel not worried, but a little concerned for sure. Because I was like, it breaks the pin, so now I clearly have to do something about it. And I don't know which piece is best. I feel like I still want my knight guarding this square, but But also if I take with the queen, you know, then I'm attacking this with 2 pieces and I'm freeing up my light square bishop. Both of those sound good. You know, if I take with the pawn, it's going to make it more difficult for me to queenside castle in a couple of moves. And, you know, and my bishop is still blocked in. So I felt like taking with the queen was best, plus it pins this bishop, and this is now totally open. So I felt like that was best, but it might end up being the pawn. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. The computer will tell us. So that's what I did. I took with the pawn, or took with the queen. He develops his knight to block this. He's still pinned with his bishop, but it's not a huge deal. Now I no longer need to be concerned about this square, at least, so my knight is free to do something. But at this point, no, I'm just going to go through with continuing to take the material, allow me to queenside castle in just a second. He attacks my queen, that's fine, but hey, because I moved my queen, I don't care anymore. Obviously, I could retreat, but I don't know which retreat square is the best retreat square. Shit, it might even be do something crazy, like go all the way over here. I don't know. But I didn't want to have to think about it, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take the time, just constant offense, just move everything forward, and you know, go from there. So he immediately unpins, which means, again, maybe now I could come back, but I just felt it's probably fine. I'm gonna just take here, take there. Let me get my queenside castle in here. And yeah, I make a little bit of an ugly pawn structure, but it does open up this line for my rook. And this rook is barreling down, and my queen is still active. I even have this pawn. I almost forgot. Let's go back a little bit. Here, yes, here. I did actually notice that I could just win this pawn straight up. And I thought long and hard about if I wanted to go for that or not, or if I wanted to just pin the knight. I wasn't sure which was best, but generally the theme with Viennas is you want rapid development. So sometimes you're sacrificing a pawn or even 2 to keep getting your pieces out on the field. Even if it leaves you like totally open, you just castle and then all of your pieces are out and he just doesn't have any pieces out. So I thought, you know, I'm probably the better player. Yeah, I can win a pawn right here, but then the queens are off. And I feel like if I'm the better player, my queen is in a stronger position. I don't necessarily want to take the queens off, so I can get extra development with my bishop. Then I can queenside castle. I can still keep this threat if I wanted, mind you. You know, maybe once I queenside castle, then I just have to push this pawn. And then he's in trouble, because if it, you know, depending on how he answers to the pin here, like maybe he just castles. And then maybe it's pinned and now I'm pushing over here. Like it just gives me lots of options and lots of attack. So I went against just, it's the theme of the tournament. If I have a free pawn, I'm not gonna take it most likely, because I can just feel like I build stronger attack the other way, develop my pieces and go from there. So that's what I chose to do. Take. You know, maybe in hindsight, I castle kingside, and then I don't have to double my pawns. I get to defend this horse. But I really wanted to have a rook here with this pawn able to push forward. And maybe I even could have pushed forward now. Probably not. It would have depended on how he recaptures. He's not going to recapture with the queen. So, you know, let's just say he goes with the bishop if I push forward, and then I could castle. And then now I've got 3 pieces attacking a pinned bishop. So maybe that was better, but, you know, plus it would have prevented him from doing this. But I also wasn't that concerned about giving me the open G file either. I felt like it was, you know, fielder's choice for you baseball guys out there. I'm going to win the game one way or the other, probably. So I just wanted to go with something that just felt a little bit safer, but this is probably the computer recommended move. We'll see. Anyway, I queenside castled. He does take, I capture, and then he offers up a queen trade now because, again, I still have this pawn over here. Maybe I could have even done this now. I don't know. I wanted to keep my queens on because I'm probably better, but there comes a point where at some point the queens have to go, and the queens are going to have to go now, but not the way he's thinking. There's an absolutely killer move here that if you see it, feel free to pause the video if you want. And you may even have already seen it. I saw it almost instantly. An absolutely devastating move where I definitely just win the game. So, you know, spoilers, that means it's not a queen trade, but there's something else. So I thankfully found that particular move pretty quickly, and that's going here with the knight, which puts obviously pressure on the queen, pressure on this square, which is a fork. And if he wants to try and save it, I'm not quite sure how he can, because I will then have 3 pieces attacking this square. So then I would take the queen trade, attacking his queen, threatening the fork if he recaptures. You know, lots of different stuff coming through. Just too much incoming. Then this knight is good to go. You know, this bishop will get to do something. This pawn can start running down the field. So thankfully I found it. It's developing the knight out here, and I don't know what the computer suggests is the best possible move, because he's kind of boned at this point. So he decides to take the queen, so at least remove a big threat from the board, from the field, whatever. And I get a couple of options. I decided to take with the pawn because then I have this threat still sitting here. It frees up my rook to the open file, so he couldn't queenside castle. Like if I took with bishop, he could potentially queenside castle. Then he's guarding this and guarding, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I feel like that's probably really bad. Granted, I'd have 2 pieces on here still, but this way I feel like he can't queenside castle if he wanted to, and it has a pawn attacking this horse as opposed to a bishop attacking the horse. So that's a threat to be taken. This is a threat to be taken. And, you know, then this is open for position. This is open for position. And he's just in a world of hurt. So that's what I did. He decided he's just going to give up the pawn because you can't handle getting forked. He's also just giving up this knight. Oops, let me go back. Like, could the knight have gone? No, I mean, the knight can't go here to defend it. Can't go here to defend it. Obviously can't go there. That does nothing. I mean, I guess the knight doesn't get captured then, but then I get to go here, mess up his castle, and he no longer has... I mean, he at that point then is a free rook because he can't recapture if he wanted to. So he just decided to give up the knight, which is why I wanted the pawn to be the one attacking the knight instead of the bishop attacking the knight. So that if he chose to do that, sweet, I win a knight. I'm still facing a pawn down here, and I still have this coming, I still have this coming, and once I get my rook here, even this is then coming. So he's in deep shit, is all I gotta say. He recaptures the pawn, because he doesn't want this pawn messing up things, I suppose, which is fine. And now I kind of have flavor of choice. I have lots of different ways I can play. You know, obviously this is strong, but now that this bishop is guarding this pawn, I don't think it's nearly as strong. It's not very exciting. I'm not going to get through in that regard. So I decide, I think I'm going to go take with the horse first, because it's going to force him to move this knight, this rook, to probably attack my knight, but it's not really a huge deal. I don't really care if it attacks there. He's not going to go there because I'm happy to trade. I'm also happy just to not trade and just, you know, make my position better in other ways that I can. I guess he can't go there, I take it. So he doesn't have any great squares, and I have a nice square down here I can run to that allows me to attack the bishop. So now that I'm up a horse, I'm winning in material, I'm winning in position, simplifying the field and the board. Jesus, man. Simplifying the field is going to be advantageous for me. Get rid of some of these pieces. So I kind of just set my sights on doing that. Even though now I don't get a chance to mess up his pawn structure, he'll recapture with the rook. Honestly, I didn't even think about this move whatsoever. I had kind of set my sights into, I'm going to go here, and if the bishop's there, I'm going to take the bishop, because simplify the board. It's probably not great anymore, honestly. I probably should just let this sit here for the time being. I should probably focus on developing my other rook and, you know, maybe going after the bishop in a different way. Because just like last game, how his rook skewered a couple of my pieces, he's going to get to skewer these guys, and I won't have a good way to defend it. Not that it's like a life-threatening or game-threatening, position, but it'll be a little uncomfortable and a little annoying. It's going to take me some time to maneuver around to defend that otherwise, I could be using to win the game instead. I'd like to have pieces up here, but I don't now. And now he's trying to not get in here, but maybe try to get down there. I thought about bringing my king here so that I'm guarding all three of these squares. Actually, low-key, I think I forgot that my bishop is guarding that square. I think in-game I forgot that I was guarding that square because I'm trying to guard both of my two pieces over here. And I can't move the bishop yet because then he takes it. So I was also like, what if he wants to go here? So I thought, moving my king here to guard his rook entry. Now his rook can't get in anywhere. But I was like, but I also want to double my rooks, and he does have a back rank weakness. So if I double my rooks, and if he does go somewhere, then I can just win the game immediately. And even if he doesn't go somewhere, maybe he doubles his rooks or something. I don't know, maybe he gives up on this. Then mine are doubled, so I can still just go in here. And then he's forced to make a flight square. We trade rooks. Advantageous to me because I'm winning. That's all fine and dandy. We can make some progress and go from there. Maybe if I double up, maybe there's a way I can maneuver his guys to be on dark squares, or maybe I can't. Who knows? So I found in a lot of games that I play that I don't really go for the win often enough. It's something that I see a lot of other players do, especially in faster time controls. Empty threats are often strong. If you attack a piece, maybe they don't see it and they blunder it and you win the piece, and good job. If you're constantly attacking, then they're constantly defending. You win the game with checkmate, so make checkmating attacks and try and go from there. I sometimes struggle with offense because I feel like, yes, I can make the attack, but if I can also see how he defends it, and if the resulting position of me make a one-move attack, he makes a one-move defend, doesn't, and then all of a sudden, now I don't like where that piece is, so that's not good. And then he can just attack that piece, and now what have I done? I've done nothing but make his defense better. If I can see how they can defend it, I often just don't make attacks at all. And then I'm just trying to maneuver around, play position, try and push him into a way where he can't help himself to lose a pawn, and then I just sort of slowly choke and squeeze the life out of the position from winning one or two pawns and going from there. Which I think is a part of a symptom of only ever really playing with the computer. I don't play a ton of games against humans. I play a lot of classical where you have hours and hours and hours to think of time, or of time to think of moves. And then I play games against computers where computers know how to defend, and they might make really ridiculous looking moves that give away pieces because they know one line down the future where they can win the piece back, or they can equalize in some other way. So it's just like, yeah, sure, this is fine, because they can defend like a computer, whereas human beings don't. But I see that they can make the defending square, so then I just never make the attack to begin with. So I feel like king to d2 might actually be the better play, because then I can bring my rook over, probably force a trade in that regard. Hell, even if he just takes it, I don't have to take back with the king. I just checkmate if he doesn't, go for the back rank. So I felt like king to d2 was probably the better move, but I thought rook to d2 to give me a chance to get an immediate back rank checkmate is the type of attack that I don't do often enough. And maybe it's the type of play that I should do more often playing against humans. And I think, honestly, I was worried that he would go here and attack the pawn, or go here and attack the pawn. But now I see he couldn't even have attacked this pawn. I literally missed that I was guarding this square. So that's pretty crazy. I also thought it might be awkward that if I go here and, God, he can't have gone there because I win, but I don't know. It felt weird that I might end up making this move anyway, and then it feels awkward, but I digress. So I go after it, trying to get the quick checkmate. He spots it, so I don't get the quick checkmate. And now, yeah, I went to defend this pawn that I don't need to defend. I mean, I guess if I want to move my bishop, then I do need to defend it from this rook. But, you know, plus now I suppose king to d2 is better because now I'm not blocking in my rook. But, you know, it felt a little awkward. You know, me putting myself in this position felt like I slowed myself down a little bit. I'm tripping over my own shoelaces a little bit. I do have a tendency to do that sometimes. Chess, not in real life. I don't actually trip over my shoelaces. But still, he doesn't really have any way to win. Like at this point, I'm looking at the pieces. He's got 2 rooks. I've got 2 rooks, and my king in one move will be guarding for himself. You know, I've got an extra bishop. Yeah, my pawns are ugly, but I've got a majority over here, 3-2. So he can't win the game at this point. I can't blunder a rook when there's only rooks on the field, you know? So I just need to just not be a dumbass. I don't know, like, don't blunder the bishop, obviously, and I can't lose this game. So he makes a random pawn push. I think this was him sort of like mentally conceding defeat. Like, he probably knows he can't win and he doesn't know what to do. And kids tend to be a little bit weaker in endgames because it's tough to study endgames. It takes repetition, it takes practice, it takes, you know, study, it takes theory. And a lot of online games, you generally don't get to an endgame where it's like equal-ish or like trying to fight in a losing position in an endgame. Because online games, when you play 100 games a day and they're all 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever, you're just moving pieces, and, you know, if you lose, then whatever. And so he just moves a piece to get to the next game kind of deal. But this doesn't do anything for him. So if he wanted to fight, that wasn't the way to fight. So whatever, sure, thanks. I'll take the free move. King is in great shape. Now he attacks a bishop. Like, what if you did that last turn? You know, I'm just curious. Like, what if you did that last turn? I move here and my king is still here. So it's not really a big deal. It's not a huge difference. It's not like this is any sort of threat because I have a rook and a bishop guarding. I'm just, you know, it just seems interesting to me. It's not like he continued to keep pushing. He decided to start playing all of a sudden. But anyway, no big deal. So I retreat back just to keep this solid. And now this pawn can just do whatever the hell he feels like. I don't care. I'm going to find a way to trade these rooks and then just win the game. So he moves his king up. Sure, whatever. I don't care. I offer a trade of rooks. He doesn't accept it. But he does kind of skewer his pieces now too. Did I have that earlier? I did not have that here. I did see it. I forgot to mention it 5 seconds ago. I did see this, but I don't have access to this square yet. So that's another reason for me offering the trade of rooks. He declines, and now he gets, you know, he's definitely losing the game now. So he does whatever. I take the material, he takes the material. And at this point, the game is a formality. I'm up an entire rook. I've got better pawns. I'm gonna win the game. So there's not really anything more to think about. There's not really anything more that's interesting. Sure, I take pawn, we trade pawns. I give check. You know, obviously now at this point, I want to just simplify. I could completely just remove the rook from the field right now if I wanted, but you know, I thought maybe there is a way I could do it where maybe I can win the rook for free if I put in some checks, whatever. Like I'm still trying to find like higher level moves, but you really don't need to. And yeah, you know, there you go. Sure, whatever. I don't think this changes anything. I guess the king is cut off now, but now I'm not attacking this guy for free, so I think I might have honestly just tried too hard for nothing. I knew what I needed to do, and now I'm just going to slowly move my king all the way over. I'm going to take these pawns. I honestly do not care if I have to trade this rook for one of these pawns. I know I don't have to. I know I can make better plays where this isn't a thing, but I also just don't care. There's a 100% chance of me winning the game by running my king over, trading these 2 pieces away, killing these guys, queening a pawn, and then winning that way. That I just don't want to have to mentally think. I don't want to have to spend the time and worry about clock trouble. So I just get my king over, he gets his king over. He knows that if he takes here, then I take here. So now he's just trying to set up a lot of different positions. He moves that over, fine, sure, whatever, I take it. And actually, I think at this point, I think this was the move where my time was low enough where I stopped writing down moves. I knew that the game was 100% in the bag. I cannot lose it from here. I wasn't going to waste time writing down moves anymore. So I don't know exactly how it played out, but the rough estimate is that he moved pieces, I moved pieces. The only thing I know for certain is that this is, so yeah, the king moves are a little wrong. The only thing I remember for certain is that I was able to queen at the same time as him, but I queened with a pincer, and that's all that matters. Yeah, so me just wasting a few moves here just because I don't remember how it happened. And like, again, I had no issues trading the rook for this pawn, but some sort of weird way of the way that the moves played out, I didn't end up having to do it, though I would have had no problem if I did. So I let him queen for fun so that I could also queen with check, and now I'm defending it. I take the queen. He moves his king a couple of times towards the middle, and then I find ways of checkmating him, and the game is over. So I win. Yes! We're 1-1. We got to win. We knew we were going to win the game very early on, although I did kind of lose my way of exactly how, until eventually I won the horse, and then I won an exchange. Like, I never felt concerned outside of a little bit in the beginning when I was like, I don't know which piece is the correct piece to win the game with. And I found the one critical move, whichever square it was on. I don't remember which square it was on. Oh, here. Yeah, it would have been here. I think. Yeah, that one. I found the one critical move that made all the difference in the world and won the game. So, piece of cake. I guess technically this was actually 50 moves, so it was a longer game than the other one in terms of moves. Time-wise, much faster. So let's just go back and see, what does the computer think about our play? Was there anything I missed? And I want, give me a little bit of extra information on, did I make the correct captures or should I have taken with other pieces? So here we go, Vienna Gambit. And I'm surprised the computer says this only as plus 0.7 because it's pretty fatal. I guess if both players are really, really good, then you can still have a chance. But I thought this was actually worse. So yeah, he doesn't have a ton of options. He runs his knight back. Only move. He attacks with pawn. Yeah, I know the lines. Thanks, Gotham. I bought the course. I bought 4 courses. He captures. Interesting. You want me to use this first? But what if he just goes there? Huh? How is that the line that you want? Okay, so my only thought now looking at this is that there are different variations in the Vienna Gambit where you can castle kingside and then you just sort of let his e-pawn take everything. Take the d-pawn, take the horse, it can even take the b-pawn, and it just doesn't matter because then I've castled, so my rook is on the f-file pointing toward his f7 square. My knight can jump up after the bishop takes, of course, on f4. And then my knight can get in there. My bishop is targeting f7, my rook is targeting f7, my knight is targeting f7. My queen is available to do something. And there's way too much offense, and you win the game that way. It's a different line, it's a different variation. So I wonder if maybe that's what this computer is thinking, that you can still like push yourself into it. But wow, yeah, and then this, as opposed to just going here immediately, you go here to induce this and then go back, so his knight can't join the game. But then you opt in to, I mean, I guess maybe take, and then if queen trade, you're here. I don't know, man. But anyway, I didn't do it. My line knows to pin, but and then you can start, even if he let's just say develops here, I can still just take right away, and then I have even more options of what to take this pawn with. So. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing this one. Okay, it does like the queen. That's cool. It does like the queen because I really wasn't sure. Why do you have Dxe5? Wow, there's really only 2 moves that you like then, huh? Taking with the horse is not an option at all. Well, I'm glad I took with the queen is the right move then. I'm taking all these pieces. All right, so the queen does want me to pawn grab, but again, that's because the computer, to a computer, going up one pawn and some minor positional is enough. You know, to the computer, running away and playing for more than a pawn is silly because the computer is going to be going up and calculating against computer level defense. So to a computer, grabbing the pawn is great. Pinning the knight is apparently really bad. That surprises me, that pinning the knight is really bad. Just feels strictly superior to me. If he castles now, then I take and mess up his pawns. Huh? How is that worse than what happened where he messes up my pawns? Wow. All right, well, yeah, so once again now it wants me to make the trade. I wanted my queen. I'm better than him. So, yes. So we did mention during the review that I think this probably, I even said, the computer's probably going to say this is the best move, but I just wanted to castle early just to be safe. Could castle either way, it looks like. It looks like it likes queenside castle just a tiny bit better, which is fine. There's advantages to both. Get a rook over here or get a rook over here. You want the rook on both, but I chose queenside, so that's where we are. But yeah, I had a feeling this was probably the best move. I just didn't do it. So no big deal. He takes, I take. Now he offers, oh, there you go, look at that. So it says I'm not winning by a ton. Technically, material-wise, we're equal at this point, aren't we? Yeah, technically, material-wise, we're equal. My advantage is only in development and position. You know, his pawn structure is actually better than mine for the moment. So we go from a relatively equal position to +7 in my favor. +6.5, +7. +6.7. Thanks. But yeah, so the absolute critical move, and I found it, and that's kind of big. I wonder what it thinks of queen trading. It doesn't suggest queen trading at all in the top 3. Oh, queen trade. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's an equal material game, so then the game just becomes equal. So yeah, at least let him be the one to do it, so that I could fix my pawns, have them be connected again at least. Yeah, nope, doesn't matter. I found the move, and yeah, he's in deep shit. So he takes, taking with the pawn is the best option. This suggests saving the horse instead of castling, although it's not too different. 0.7 or 7 to 8, not too much of a gap, but that's what he suggests. I take, he takes, I take, I go back. Yeah, so taking wasn't ideal. I should have moved my rook over, get my rook active, get this rook going. Ah, I could even get a pawn going. Yeah, why not? No reason to not get the pawn going. Hey, look where the queen wants to be, just like last game, right? Look where the king wants to be. But no, not too much of a big deal. Yeah, this is a little uncomfortable. I even thought about this in game. I knew I couldn't save the pawn, or I knew I could, but it would take a lot of time and be a little awkward and be clunky and be slow. I truly did think, what if I just let this guy go, just so that way I have more space, I have more freedom, I don't care about this pawn because I'm going to win the game. You know, at least here, if he does take, I could even, I was thinking here to keep these guys defended and then just use my 2 rooks to win the game. But no, then I'm not even losing the pawn, I'm trading for that guy. But I was also eyeing this on, or this file, this rank, whatever. Yeah, no, it's rank and file, right? Anyway, either way, to win these either way, so. But no, that makes sense. It's a good move. But I didn't do it, because why would I make good moves? How much do you like king to d2? I'm going to let the computer think, and then I'm going to do king to d2. I just want to see. Because I felt like that was a better move than what I made, but I didn't do it anyway. I'm plus... Nice. We've got a nice eval right now. it dropped for a moment to 4, and then the computer realized, no, just kidding. So it's totally fine. Doesn't change anything about the outcome of the game whatsoever. No big deal. That's what the computer thinks. But didn't do it. It seems like it actually likes King D2 more than what I did, or at least about equal. But again, this gave me a mate threat that I usually never really try, so that's fine. I'm not upset about that decision. And then yeah, now just defend both of these guys so I don't have to worry about anything. Get the king involved. Yeah, like if he puts me in check down here, I don't care. I want to go here anyway. And then what? You're going to go after these guys? It's going to take you a while because I'm going to make you fish around for which ones to be correct. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of options. So there's not really anything else to evaluate now. We found a couple of the clutch moves that we needed. Yeah, now obviously it's try and trade the rook. He doesn't take it. I get the pin skewer. The pin skewer, I like using both words. I think it's fun. Just like I like saying horse instead of knight. And there's nothing really else to evaluate at this point. We found all the right moves. Yeah, I was just being fancy for no reason here. Just get the rooks off the board. Who cares? And then none of this matters. None of this matters. The game is over. So that is game 2. We are 1-1. Had a good time. Hopefully now I can get lucky and I get tie breaks to play somebody else who won their earlier games, as opposed to, you know, maybe I fight somebody 2-0 depending on the number of players if it works out. Maybe I get paired up. Basically, I want to get paired up, as opposed to getting paired down. If I get paired down, my tiebreakers are garbage and it doesn't matter. So I'm still trying to place in the top 3, get my ass a trophy. But mostly I just wanted to win the games. You know, I want to win the games. I want to do well, and go from there. So this is it. We will see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching. There you go. 37 minutes. Half the time. Half the time. I think part of that is less story time. Part of it is the game was just easier. On to the next one. And I'm guaranteed to play as black in the next game. Let's go. We'll see you guys next video. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Peace.